Today's gospel, we hear Jesus telling his disciples, let's cross to the other side. Let's go check what is on that side. Let's go and proclaim the gospel over there. Let's go and evangelize on the other side. I can almost imagine the scene. The apostles and disciples maybe just finish a day of work. They finish proclaiming, evangelizing, Jesus giving all of his teachings. They were tired. Some of them may have gone, come on, Jesus. Why don't we go tomorrow? Why don't we go a couple of days? Let us rest. But obedient as they were, they took everything and they sailed to the other side. Was it a smooth journey to the other side? No. The gospel says that they were terrified because there was a storm, there was winds, there was the waves breaking into the boats. The boats were being filled with water. And what was Jesus doing during this time? He was sleeping. He did not worry about it. He was sleeping. Finally, they wake him up and said, Jesus, do you not care? And I can imagine Jesus, although the gospel didn't say this part, but I can imagine him saying, ay, 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 people. Ay, 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 do you not have faith? Why are you so terrified? I think Jesus is calling us today to cross to the other side, especially these days when I sincerely hope that we are coming out of the pandemic. We're still not out, but I think it's a good progress and we are hopefully coming out. So as we come out of the pandemic, Jesus is telling us, let's go to the other side. Let's go to the other side. What does that mean? If you remember the challenge I gave you for Easter, at the Easter Vigil, the challenge was, let us become a community where every member of our community is a missionary disciple. It's a disciple that goes out to the world, goes to the other side, and proclaim the good news. Not necessarily by using words, but by the example on how we treat those that we encounter, especially the most vulnerable. That's what I think the invitation of Jesus is for us today, to go out to the world, become missionary disciples. One of these days, somebody asked me, how do you measure the success of a parish? And I started asking around different people. And one person said, show me your financial statements and I'll tell you if you are successful or not. Somebody else said, well, show me the statistics. How many baptisms, funerals, confirmations, first communions, weddings do you have? And depending on the number, I'll tell you if your parish is successful or not. And I started thinking about it and I said, no, I don't think that's how the success of a parish should be measured. Because I can tell you, we baptize probably 600 to 800 children every year. Where are they? Where are their families? Maybe 10, 15% of the families participate in our daily, weekly life. We probably have close to 300 confirmations every year. Where are they? We may have 10, 15% of them participating with us. We probably have close to 150, 200 weddings in a year. Where are they? Maybe 10, 15% continue coming here. So I don't think the success of the parish can be measured in financial terms or statistics. But I do believe the success of our parish can be measured by the number of people we are sending out to proclaim the gospel, by the number of people who take seriously the invitation from Jesus to move to the other side. We can no longer be the same church that we were before the pandemic. I hear many people saying, I long to go back to how we were before the pandemic. I don't want to go back to the same way we were before the pandemic. I want us to be a new church. I want us to be renewed. I want us to walk to the other side following Jesus' invitation. I want people to come to Mass because they believe in the graces that are received in the sacrament, in the Eucharist, and they desire them. Not just because Sunday is a day of obligation, not only because Bishop Myron will leave the dispensation to attend Sunday Mass next weekend. I don't want people to come just because it's an obligation. I want people to come because they desire to be here. They desire, even if we don't have music. I know liturgies with music are fantastic, but we come because we desire the sacrifice of Jesus. I would like a community where I've been asked multiple times in the last few weeks, when are we moving baptisms to this church so we can use this beautiful baptismal font? Because right now we're having baptisms on the other church. And I said, do you want to baptize your child in that baptismal font? Yes, I really want to. Okay, bring your child to a Sunday Mass, and we will baptize your child in that font. Why? Because that way the entire community participates of the baptism. The entire community becomes part of the graces received in baptism. How about couples that come and say, Deacon, I would like, or quinceañeras. Let's talk about quinceañeras, the blessing of a 15-year-old girl. Deacon, can we have a blessing for my daughter, but I want her alone. I don't want any other quinceañeras in there. Not a problem. Bring your daughter to any Sunday Mass, and we will give her a blessing at the end of Mass. Wouldn't that be wonderful that the entire community rejoices when somebody celebrates a significant birthday? Wouldn't it be wonderful that when one of us passes away, we all participate in the funeral Mass and not request a private Mass? No, it would be fantastic for all of us to mourn and cry with those who are suffering. That's what a community does. How about a wedding? How about a wedding? Deacon, we would like to have a wedding, but we would like, and they put a lot of restrictions or conditions. And I said, how about coming to a Sunday Mass or a daily Mass? The point I'm trying to make is that gather as one around the Eucharist. After all, those are the words where our mission statement begins. Gather as one around Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. The Mass should be the center of all of our actions, the center of everything that we do. Those of you who have children in faith formation age, you are going through one of the storms moving to the other side. Why? Because we don't have the in-person teaching in classrooms. We don't. We want to move away from that. We want to move away from, because catechesis should not be conformed to September through May and then you graduate. No. Faith formation should be a lifelong journey. And it should begin with Mass. It should begin with the Eucharist. We have not been able to restart. Well, let me finish with the faith formation. Faith formation. Now we are having parents do the teaching at home. After all, parents are supposed to be the first teachers of their children. We are giving them all the information, all the resources that they need to teach their children at home. Then they come to Mass to be fed, to be nourished. This is where people need to gather. RCIA, we have not been able to restart RCIA since the pandemic began. We will very soon, blessed be God. And you know how? People will have to come to Mass. And after Mass, we will gather outside for the time being. But that's how. And the children, they will receive the same faith formation that our faith formation program is doing for everybody else. How long will my child be in the program? Until he or she is ready. It's not the number of years that you have them information. It's how ready they are to accept and receive the graces of the sacraments. Jesus is inviting each one of us to move to the other side. Let's go, he said, to the other side. Is it going to be a smooth ride? No, it's not. It's not going to be a smooth ride. We will find storms. We will have waves crashing against our boats. But we can do it. Is it going to be what I have described as what my vision, my dream of a community? Can we accomplish that next month? No. Can we accomplish it next year? No. Can we accomplish it maybe in 5 or 7 years? I would say in 5 or 7 years, we should start seeing some of the fruits of all of us moving together. During the pandemic, I always say, we are not all on the same boat. The pandemic, we did not experience it all in the same boat. We experienced the same storm, but each of us in different boats. I know families who lost several family members during the pandemic. I know families who didn't lose anybody during the pandemic. I know families who the entire family was infected with coronavirus. I know families who none of the members of that family were infected. I know families who many lost their jobs because of the pandemic. I know families who no one lost their job. And so we cannot say that we were all in the same boat. We were under the same storm, but different boats. But moving to the other side, I think we can be on the same boat, or at least on the same train. You know the expression, you better jump onto the train because it's about to leave. And if you don't jump in, you will be left behind. I truly believe our community of St. Stanislaus can be the greatest community ever if we all become missionary disciples. And hopefully when we get to the other side, or when we approach the other side, we will be able to say, let us give thanks to the Lord, because his love is everlasting.